Okay, this is a fascinating story. Case study. Real life story here. The article's from Fast Company, and it's about the 4-day work week. Now, on previous shows, I've talked about the fact that the 4-day work week has been tested multiple places in Europe. I believe there's an ongoing study. I believe they're still in the middle of the study, if my memory serves, in the UK. It's been tested, actually tested, not just studied, but tested, I believe, in Sweden or Denmark or one of those countries over there. And so, now it's getting kicked around. And I told somebody this morning, by the way, Alex, I was telling a friend, we were talking about it. He said, what do you see? And I said, I think the 4-day work week is coming at us like a runaway locomotive. I think it's coming to the U.S., and I think there's somebody big's going to adopt it, and then you're going to go through the growing pains of figuring out, just like everything that kind of happens, right? Remote work, a lot of growing pains, we figured it out. I don't see any way that it's not coming. So I want to comment on this because it's not a guarantee that it's going to be all smooth sailing. Research from the Henley Business School in the UK found that a 4-day work week could provide benefits to employers and employees, improve work quality, less stress, and a heightened ability to attract and retain talent. Now, it's very important that we focus on words. Words still matter, even in this stupid world we live in right now where everybody's woke and got a different definition of the same word. My truth. If I hear somebody say that one more time, I'm going to spit nails. So let's look at the truth. The study said it could provide those things. Does it? Well, Rebecca Brooks is the founder and CEO of a Los Angeles-based marketing research firm, Alter Agents. When COVID hit, she and her team of 23 employees shifted to remote work, later opting to stay fully remote. And it was just an adjustment. She said there were a lot of stressors, employers had personal things going on, and there was a lot of chaos. We were trying to help figure out what's the best environment for us. Then Brooks came across some studies and some articles, like the ones we probably resourced, about 4-day work weeks. And her business, they're in the agency business, so her team has to be available based on a client's deadline. So it's a little different rhythm. So shutting down the office on a Friday wouldn't work. So she thought, well, I can't do a Monday through Thursday because there's just no way we can't be working on a Friday. So the company then decided to test the 4-day work week for 10 weeks. And what they did was they allowed the employees to pick the day they could take off. And this required communication. So they went to a 4-day, 32-hour week, and they had one basic rule. 2 people on the same team couldn't be off the same day. So there was somebody in every day of the week. But the employees that communicated together, hey, I'm going to take Tuesday. Okay, great. I'll take Monday, whatever. Okay. And so they went off and running. And the employees were excited about the new schedule, but the results were mixed. So they were initially excited, but then when they got into it, here's what came down the pike. And I think this is fascinating, Alex. She says, and I quote, "It really came down to personality type. Some of our employees were allowing their days off to start to become corrupted." In other words, they couldn't keep themselves from doing some work and did a little more work. She said others were very good at setting boundaries, saying, I'll deal with this when I come back, or somebody else that's in the office can pick it up. Neither of those is wrong, she goes on to say. They're both valid approaches, but because there wasn't consistency across all the employees, meaning because of their personality, they handled it differently, and there wasn't consistent ways in which they applied their time off. It created confusion and frustration, and it affected the dynamics between our employees. Think about it. You can see the employee who doesn't have boundaries and is all worried about dropping the ball or somebody blaming them for something. And here they are on their day off firing 5 or 6 emails. And the person who does have the boundary, who says, hey, it's my day off, they're counting on that person to reply and they don't. Now there's tension. She goes on to say, we found that many of our team members had to play catch up every week. So the workload was hard to squeeze into the 4 days. She said, it became hard for people to keep up with what had happened when they were out, and we started to notice little things slipping through the cracks that didn't hold up to our standards. At the end of the 10 weeks, Brooks took a survey and found that the employee satisfaction went down because the arrangement was creating more stress than it was intended to alleviate. So again, can I just tell you, I'd love to get her on the show. I think this is really brave leadership. You know, she goes, I may think it's a bunch of hogwash, but I'm going to test it. Or maybe she thought, maybe there's something in this. I don't know if it will work or not, but why don't we test it? You know? And here's the other thing she didn't do. She wasn't one of these little scared weak leaders. It was like, I know my people want this, so I'm just going to do it and deal with it. No, she said, we're going to do a 10-week test. That's brave. Do a 10-week test. We're not committing to this. We're going to test it, and she did. So impressive, Miss Brooks. And so here it is. This thing that was designed to alleviate stress created more stress. So there's your sign. This is what she said. She said people were not able to fully relax on their day off, even if they had a hard boundary, and they were good at it. There was still tension and stress and anxiety about what they were missing out or how much of a pile they were going to come back to. The 4-day work week might be successful. It might be. There's a lot of work to be done and a lot more testing to do and a lot more dealing with the real source. I'm going to get to that momentarily. But organizations are going to need to get to the bottom of what's causing all the stress in the first place. So take this situation. They thought, well, we'll do a 4-day work week, less time in the office, and see if that reduces stress, and it doesn't. So again, you're trying to troubleshoot the source. And a good doctor dives deep into the source of the pain, and then we deal with that. And trying these novelty ideas, and again, I applaud her for doing it, but it didn't solve the problem. And what we've got going on here is, I think, just this guard. We want to put up, as leaders, we want to put up a fence. We want to protect our people from burnout, but you got to know what causes the burnout. I got an article at kencoleman.com that details out the 5 causes of burnout. I'm going to give them to you really quick because this is good for you. And if you're a leader, you need to be checking the symptoms of your people to see what are the sources. There's 5 sources of burnout. 1, people don't find passion and purpose in their work. They don't sense a great deal of meaning and purpose in the job you've got them in. That could be a great source of burnout. Number 2, there's some toxicity within your organization or individually. If you're looking at this, you've got a toxic coworker, a toxic leader, or the overall culture just sucks. And that's making you feel burnout. Number 3, you are overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed. You feel like you're drinking from a fire hydrant that's been cranked open and just a stream of water coming out. You can't even drink. You got more water than you could possibly know how to deal with. You can't even sip it. You're overwhelmed. The 4th cause of burnout is a lack of recognition and you feel unnoticed and overlooked. That can eat at your soul quick, burn up your spirit just like that because you feel like you don't matter enough. The 5th cause of burnout, you're bored. You don't have a challenge. There's no challenge for you. Leaders, get to these issues. Don't just try a 4-day work week or some new technique. Go, wait a second. What is going to make my people healthy? Overcoming those symptoms of burnout.